Namaste.
Bonjour. So, you are here for the podcast Two Worlds, Two Perspectives, India and France. My name is Preeti Bhutani.
I am Alizé.
I'm going to talk about my perspective of France as I visited the country several times.
And I'm going to talk about my first impression in India. This is actually my second time, so I have things to say.
This episode is about the first impression that we had of the country that we visited. So, I will talk about my first impression of France and Alizé.
And I will talk about my first impressions in India.
And we'll have some casual conversations around our perspectives. We really hope you will enjoy this conversation and you will learn a lot about two worlds, two perspectives, India and France, both the countries, the country. I'm going to ask you, Alizé, what was your first impression of India when you landed or even a day after? How did you see India when you came here?
Okay, so I believe the first thing I noticed was when I first get out of the airport, actually. It's going to be very cliche, but the heat that attacked me as soon as I just get out of the airport, I was like, oh my God, like, you know, the heat in France and in India is so much different. Like, for example, in France, when we consider this is hot, it's about, I don't know, 32 degrees and stuff. But when I landed in August 2024, it was about, I don't know, almost 40 degrees. Plus the humidity was something I never knew before, literally. So the first thing was the heat, and I would say the taxi ride from the airport to the hotel was clearly something I was not prepared for, because I remember I was on the phone with my mom during the ride, and I was like, Mom, we are going to crash. I don't know how is it even possible that we can manage to drive like this. Like, I believe you must have some rules and stuff, but at that time, I was like, how is it possible that they even survive on the road?
So, you know, about this, we often say that driving in India is more like playing a video game. And I'm sure you must have felt the same when you were sitting at the back seat of your taxi.
I mean, I don't know, like, even like when the honking stuff here is something very common, and don't even think of doing that in France, actually, because when we honk on the road in France, it's to show frustration and stuff. Like, literally, it can end up in a fight, actually. So that's why we are very cautious when you use that. And here, this is just a way of communicating with the other drivers. It was amazing to me, because literally, I thought driving in Paris was very hard. And then I came to Delhi and I was like, oh, actually driving in Paris, piece of cake.
Have you ever tried driving in Delhi, or you think you will ever try driving in Delhi in future also?
Well, I love being alive. So, I don't know, like, even, you know, like the cars also in Delhi, in India in general are different, because you drive the other way. So even the wheel is not at the right place.
We follow the British system, you know, that is how it was implemented here. So that is why we drive the British way, not the French way.
Yeah, exactly. So double complication for me.
So I can say that you're not going to give it a try while you're here.
I mean, I have tried to ride a bike. And
not bad.
But it was, you know, in a deserted area
Okay.
with no danger around, only me, and I was like, I can do this, but I mean, it's not the real conditions. I mean, when you are on the road in Delhi, obviously you are not going to be the only one using the road. So,
and how about the heat? Did you cope up with that after some time, or it remained a difficult task for you even after a week or 2 weeks when you were here in Delhi?
The heat was a problem in the beginning, but in India, having ACs almost everywhere is pretty normal, which is not normal in France, actually, because why install ACs when there's no heat?
That's true. But Alizé, I have to tell you something about this, is that, you know, at 26 degree or 24 degree in Europe, in France particularly, even in Italy, I get tanned. I get tanned completely brown. And here in India, even at 48 degrees, I never get tanning. Did you see the difference? Did you also feel that? Did you get tanned while you were here at 44 or 40 degrees? Because I never get tanned in India, and 10 days or a 1 week in Europe at 26 degree, 24 degree, I am all bronzed.
Oh, you know, I don't have the luxury to get tanned actually. I get sunburnt.
Yes.
That's it.
So did you get those burns in India also? No.
No,
So
no,
our heat is
absolutely
very
not.
different. We are very soft. It's a very soft heat, you can say. It doesn't burn you.
Yeah, soft heat that actually attack you like this and you cannot breathe. But this is soft.
Yes, it doesn't burn you, so it is soft. Yes, it attacks you, but it is still soft. It's not like in Europe, huh? Very difficult. No matter how much you protect yourself, you are going to be bronzed entirely, tanned completely.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not really sure because I tend to show less skin in India than what I
Yes.
would do in France. So obviously, it's hard to tell from that point. But the heat here is managed differently than in France because in France that's rare. We can say that. I mean, in Delhi, this is almost the daily life, normal life for.
great. So for you, there were two things that, kind of shocked you. For me, it's absolutely the opposite of what you experienced. I arrived the first time in France. It was during the time of July, and I arrived on a weekend. So I arrived in Paris, and from there I took the train to go to Rennes. And you would not believe, I think I arrived about 6:37 in the evening, and I don't see a person around me. It's like, I know they don't have population, but I didn't know they don't have at all because not even a single person out on a weekend at 6:30 in the evening. First of all, that was a shock to me. And then, I'm talking about an era or age group when the suitcases only had 2 wheels. So not the 4 that you can easily walk the airport with those 4 wheels without even pulling them. So with these 2 wheels of that heavy suitcase, because I was going for a longer period, I had to drag them all the way. And the second thing I was missing is people who can come and tell me, ma'am, can we help you? Do you need help? Because this is so heavy. We can just help you to the university, drag it. No, it was not possible. So yes, no one around. And I missed my country so much at that time. If I was in India, people would have come forward to, offer help. Let me handle that for you. I will do it for you. We always have people who would do it. And then reaching the university, my room was on the 4th floor and with no lift. No. And again, imagine that heavy suitcase. And you will not believe that the day I was departing, before that, I made sure, because my flight was early morning, so I had to leave late night. I made sure to find someone who will help me midnight get my luggage down to the taxi. So my impression of seeing people around, no one. And the second thing is also, related to nature. For you, it was heat. For me, it was daytime. I arrived first time and, it's 11:30. 11:45. When is it going to be dark? When do I sleep? Because we have the notion that we sleep when it is dark, and it doesn't get dark in summer in the part of area I was till 11:30, 12, and that came as a shock also for me. So these two things, I missed my country straight away for the help I needed for my luggage, and I missed having people around me. I couldn't see anyone around. And then the night, I wanted to sleep. I was so tired, but it was not dark. Mentally I couldn't sleep. I couldn't go to bed, turning my curtains off. Okay, now it's time to sleep. So yes, the first day was terribly sickening, but the one thing which happened good is that it was my birthday when I arrived in France that day. And it was not fun to not have your friends and family around, and especially not even able to see anyone in the city. That was another terrible thing. I did find someone in the same university who just arrived from Italy, and we started discussing. So at least we were then 3 of us, and I was not by myself. She couldn't arrange a cake because everything was closed. And in France, everything is closed at 6:30. Come on, we really go out at 6:30 to shop and to enjoy. But yeah, shops are closed. The supermarkets also were mostly closed. So but we found some kind of a small tits and bits to cut together and celebrate my birthday. But memorable day, of course. My first day in France. It was very, very memorable.
But so you said there was no people around at 6:30 and stuff. But so did you find people the day after?
I did.
Because it's a Sunday, so it's another story on Sunday.
Absolutely, I did find people after that, so that was comforting. That it's not. I have not landed in a no man's zone. there were people, but this was surprising that people don't come out on weekend, because we are dying to go out on weekends. You will see there are people in malls, there are people in restaurants everywhere. But I think that, of course, that was my first time in France, and this was my first perspective, and I'm opening about it, that the reason was why I could not see people is, first, it was July. That is the vacation time. A lot of people go out on vacation of France. Secondly, I was in the university area, student area. So most of the students have already gone out, though there were people also living around, but very few. And then, of course, a weekend. I have seen dry and, you know, dead weekends everywhere in France, even today most of the time. So that was very obvious. But when you reach a country for the first time and you see something like that, you're dead. Where are you? It's literally a no man's land. And it, you know, kind of reminded me of my first trip to Canada, where it was a completely different program. But for that program, we had to spend 1 week of training together. And for that training, we were in the middle of the forest. Literally middle of the forest, one house, there was not even a single person seen till kilometers. You know, we have walked through the jungle and everything, and this one wooden house in between, where we are only those 14 people altogether staying, 7 Indian and 7 Canadian. And it reminded me of that, you know, all countries are no man's land the very first day. Why is it that? So that is why. But I knew afterwards that why there were no one, and then we had great time. I had best of my time during my first visit to France, made friends and enjoyed and visited places. But yes, the first impression was this.
So, like, would you say that French people cannot speak English?
Oh, of course. Oh, of course. They cannot speak English. You are an exception, Alize, but, you know, it's... I won't find it strange though. You know, I would say that the French people, not today maybe, but the generation of my age and even the older one, the way they learnt English in France is exactly the same way our Indian students learn French in the schools. So of course, if our Indian students are not able to speak French, the reason is, you know, they've done very basic, and the focus had been more on grammar and vocabulary and not on real communication. And I do understand why that generation cannot speak French, because yes, of course, you know, we go to the families and do you speak French? And the child says, no, just a little bit. Can you speak in English, please? Yes, I can also speak a little bit. Thank you. Good morning. You want? You want croissant? You want lait?
You pronounce it too well. You have to pronounce it croissant.
So, but I don't find it a problem that if that generation does not speak English, because I know that the education system for learning English in France and for learning French in India had been very similar at that time. However, the young generation that I've met, you know, in France, who are in university right now, who just came out of university, they are bilingual and trilingual also. They speak French, they speak English, and they do also speak sometimes Spanish or Italian also. So I don't think that French people cannot speak English if we talk about it today. But yes, of course, the generation before and the one later, I would not even talk about it. Even the one generation before you cannot speak French. I'm sure your mother would face the same problem, or, you know, she would have learnt at school, but she cannot speak.
Oh, if she was my mom, if she can speak English, she will say yes. But then if you try to have a conversation with her, it's going to be complicated.
Yeah,
she's confident, but...
No, I understand that, yes, they cannot have a real communication or a conversation, but the reason is same, you know, for us. So it's good that the young generation took it up and they understood that we have to go out in the world, we need to learn English, and we have to speak in English. And if we are having this conversation today and a larger number of people are going to hear us out, it's only because we are communicating in English. You know, imagine we start talking in French, 2 sentences, everyone here will go out. They will disappear. So the choice of language defines what audience you're going to get and how much audience. So when you are working in an international level, it's important to have that language. And I really hope, and we are working on it, that the Indian community also, who are learning French at school level, they also are coming up very well. You know, now they are speaking better than they used to before, because we also have changed pedagogy, we also have changed system. So.
But definitely, you have to know how to speak English, because, you know, without English, I would be nothing in Delhi because I can't speak Hindi. Sometimes English is enough, sometimes it's not. But thank God, I'm so grateful I can actually communicate in English because
Very
without that, it would be so complicated.
It's so complicated.
Yeah, definitely. Even sometimes with English, I'm struggling. But
No, you're speaking pretty well. It's very clear what you want to say and you speak very well. So you have a very good level of English. You can be proud of that. So I feel
I
also.
don't know because usually when I meet people, like they make me understand that my accent is not from here
Yeah.
and that it's actually hard to understand me sometimes. So I don't know.
See, accent is a very unique thing that makes you unique. That makes you belong to your place in any language. Even in India, we speak Hindi, and we don't speak Hindi the same way everywhere.
Yeah.
So when somebody I meet from maybe some other region and he speaks Hindi, and I will get to know, oh, you're not from Delhi, for example. And when I speak Hindi, people immediately say, ah, you're from Delhi. So how do you know? So accent is what keeps you rooted to your place, and I don't see any problem in having accent. Even when we speak French, I don't think we are speaking French or French accent we have, but whatever accent we have, we are able to communicate what we want to. We are able to make people understand what we want to say. So I think having an accent is a beauty in itself. So you shouldn't be upset when people say you have a different accent or your English is different. You speak English that comes from France. You have adapted it to your needs, and you have adapted to your culture and to your own language. Why not?
Fancy English.
Fancy English. Let's say it is a fancy English.
Thank you.
So do you still feel scared while taking a cab ride, or it has changed over the time?
You mean for the driving?
For cab,
Oh.
when you're sitting in a taxi behind the wheels, I'm not sure whether you will be behind the wheels because you said you don't want to, but you're sitting at the back seat, and
Yeah, I mean,
it is. Do you still feel uncomfortable, or it has become better? Are you getting used to it?
Well, my experience is definitely different now because I don't know why. Like last year, during my first stay in India, like almost every time I took the cab driver used to ask me for a selfie.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that is, India's obsession with foreigners. Of course, that is that.
And it happened to me a lot during my first day, but since I am here, so I am here since December, it hasn't happened to me once.
Very good. I'm glad it hasn't happened, because I have to give you this example of one of my French friend who came with her husband here to live with us and discover the city last year. And at times she was very happy. I felt like a celebrity because everybody wanted a picture with me. They were going to the monuments and people would come to them and ask for a photograph. So initially she was very happy. I was not very happy about it, but I didn't want to spoil her feelings of feeling special. However, after 3-4 days, she was upset about the fact that, but I would like that they come to me and they ask me about where I am from, whether I like India or not, what is the place I visited. No communication at all. All they want is a photograph with me. And now it is very disturbing. So that is true that in India, if you go to touristic places, in Delhi especially, you will see they are not Delhiites. They are people who have come from different cities and they are visiting the places, and they still have this obsession with the foreigners, and that is something that bothers me at personal level so much. That come over it. They are also human beings just like you, and you are also a great nation like any other.
Exactly. The feeling of feeling like a celebrity or feeling special only lasts, I would say, 1 day or 2 days.
Yes.
After that, you are starting to think,
what's going on?
I mean, yes, because like the first time you got asked for a selfie, you think, oh, okay, I mean, it won't happen again. It's just one time. They are curious. Plus, with my tattoos and red hair, I was like, yeah, this is not usual for them.
Yes.
But then, as I said, the feeling only lasts like 1 day, 2 days. After that, you just pray, please don't ask for a selfie. I can talk to you, obviously, no problem, but please don't ask for a selfie. So yeah, but like, I think it's more about curiosity or something. I don't know. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's curiosity maybe, but I think curiosity is not about taking pictures. Curiosity is about knowing the person, knowing the place where she belongs to, knowing the culture of that country, and really having some kind of a dialogue or a conversation. A curiosity
Yeah.
cannot begin and end with taking a picture. So that is something that bothers me personally also, but there's something I cannot do about it. You know, it is absolutely their choice of getting to know a person, or maybe, you know, it's all social media that they would like to post it on. That is another kind of a debate we can have, the social media's obsession of the people.
Yeah, well,
The obsession with the foreigners and the obsession with social media, that's another topic altogether. So
even like you Indians take pictures of everything and anything, right? So I believe if you follow that direction, it's normal that you want to take pictures with someone who is
Yes.
not from here, because
Yeah.
literally every time, for I don't know, any occasions, it can be anything. Pictures, click some photos.
Yeah, Alice, you told me one thing.
Yes.
Tell me one thing. You know,
Yes.
you arrived in India and you had two setbacks, initial setbacks. That is about the heat and about the driving that we do, the crazy driving that we do, and we are lord of that, in fact, for sure. Did you have any preconceptions about India before coming? And what were they, if you had any?
Obviously, yes, because I won't talk for the other countries because I'm from France, so I will talk about France only. But like in the mind of French people, India is how can I say that? Not as developed as it really is. Like people are rude, people are a lot of things actually. I would say that the image we have in France of India is quite bad actually. And on all of the videos I saw, like for example on social medias, on Instagram and stuff, I was seeing foreigners, so not only from France but from everywhere that come in India and says you have to visit India to know what it's really about.
Yeah.
Like the conception we have of India is completely wrong, completely fake. You have to see it from your own eyes.
Yeah.
And at some point, I was really surprised because I first stayed in Defense Colony, which was a really nice area, really very nice. And I was thinking, they have fancy areas also in Delhi. I know, I was so stupid for thinking that. But I mean, that's all of the work I've done on myself, like deconstructing all of the things I thought were true about India and just see with my own eyes what is the reality. So yeah, there are obviously fancy restaurants, fancy hotels, fancy areas in Delhi, right? This is not like what we see on social medias.
Yeah, I agree
Exactly.
with you. In fact, India is misconceived outside
Yes.
India, and especially in Europe and even in France, if I would say, you know, most of the time
Definitely.
they have a preconceived notions about India and they don't even want to verify. A lot of it comes from fiction, of course, the novels which are written about the stereotypes, and they believe that we still live in poverty. All of us, you know, not just a portion, but all of us, we live in poverty, we don't have anything. And I'll give you my experience of this thing in France. So somebody, of course it changed because I've been to France some 60 times and it is not the same it was the very first time. And my idea of visiting the country is also to bring my country to them and show them the real picture of what it is. And thankfully I've been successful in changing that notion about India also. But initially, you know, there was one Spanish teacher. He was French, but he was a teacher of Spanish language, and he was very passionate about coming to India. And he was saying, "Can you invite me for any teachers training program? I would be very happy to come to India." And I was like, why not? We do a lot of teachers training program, and I'll be happy to have you over. You can stay with us also. But he said, "I have one condition." I said, "What is that one condition?" "I don't want to see snakes around me." I said, "Okay, imagine, snakes around me. I have never seen a snake around me all my life, and we don't live in forest." This is what I told him. He said, "Imagine what kind of mentality they had, as if we walk with snakes on the road, or the houses that we have are only in the forest." And I would have really, wanted him to come to India and see for himself which India is he talking about. And then I have another experience with one of the host families, and I was with the kids, and they said, you know, kids, if you want to go for shopping tomorrow, we can take you to the center city. No, we have H&M. Do you know what is H&M? Oh, it's a fashion brand. Oh, and then the girl looks at me because she didn't know how to respond. And then I told the host family, you know, we even have Louis Vuitton in India. So you have Louis Vuitton in India? C'est pas possible. It's not possible. I said we even have Paul and Brioche Doré. So it's, you know, we are not dépaysés, as we say. We are not out of our country in the sense that we don't come up from a back country at all. We have everything. It's, you know, with globalization, you can find everything in India. And for us, buying Louis Vuitton is not as difficult a thing as maybe for a French, because we have the richest here who love to throw money on all kind of luxuries and everything. So these are the kind of petty things that, you know, arrived, and we faced it all the time. And yeah, it has changed over the time for sure. And I'm very happy that every time I went, I had communications and conversations with at least some 30-40 people, and they were very inquisitive to know about India also, because of course they had the image they had is Slumdog Millionaire. That is the only movie they know, and that is all they know about India, and they think that everybody lives in slums and nothing else. And if we are fortunate for some reason, that's because of a background or a luck we have had, just like some Slumdog Millionaire. So the thing is, they have to come out and see beyond it. But very happy that, you know, it has changed. People are very nice, I would say, in France. They want to know about it. It's not that they're close-minded, you know. We have made a notion, we know what it is, and it is going to be like this. It's not true. They're open to discussion, they're open to knowing more. And the only thing is, it has to be in French, cannot be in English. Then you can have a conversation with them for 3 hours also, and they will not be bored. But yes, I loved those conversations with people I've met every time. And they were surprised also to know about India.
Yeah, obviously our culture is like so different. Like, I mean, everything is different. The way the religion is treated here is very different than what we do in France. The food, just everything is so different. And also I would like to say that most of the time people think India is a bad place because of the, mostly I would like to talk about the street food videos that we see a lot on social medias. Like, you know, India is such a large country, like it's 6 times bigger than France, and from north to south people are completely different. Even in France, you would not say that someone from Paris is the same as someone from Marseille. Yeah. So in India, it's even more true.
5 times the size of France we are.
Exactly. So we're more than 1 billion people. So obviously there will be places where the food is unhygienic and stuff. But I can say to you, and I'm 100% sure about that this kind of place is not so common actually, but we choose to focus on that because that's funny at some point to make fun of India. I just would like you to know not to believe these street food videos that you see on Instagram or anywhere actually, because they are so far from the reality.
Thank you for saying that, Alizé. Thank you for saying that. I really, you know, I'm very happy that you're making this point, that the perception that you have about India outside India is not real. You have to understand that it is not the country it used to be anymore. And in fact, it was never a country like that. Of course, with colonization, a lot of changes happened, and it took us time to come back to where we were. We are still not at the place where we were earlier, but we are trying our best, and you know, we are positioned as one of the global leaders at the moment. So they have to start understanding the global leaders are not the people who are living with snakes around or who live in the forest and who eat dirty food on the street. So there is everything and for everyone. You can eat for 5 rupees in a meal also, and you can spend 5,000 also on a meal. 5,000 is nothing, I would say 50,000 on a meal. So we have everything, space for everyone, place for everyone, and of course we are multicultural, so that makes us completely different from any other country. But I would also like people to know that, you know, for France also we have stereotypes, and often people say that, you know, they are very rude. And they don't like talking in English at all. They only want to talk in French. But let me tell you, it's not that they don't want to talk in English. Sometimes you have to understand that maybe they cannot talk in English. That is why they are not comfortable. And they are not rude. They just simply give you space. If they don't know you, they wouldn't like to just come to you and start talking. It's the cultural difference. Like in India, it's different. In France, it is different. However, the people I've known in France, they are the most wonderful people, very welcoming, very loving, and we are still connected. Whether I travel or not, we are still connected to each other. And I really want people to know that this is also a stereotype about French people, that they are rude and they don't talk to you in English even if they can. It's not the case. You know, you have to know the people. And one thing which I really believe and strongly believe, that we are two different countries. We may be two different cultures, but we are not two different people. That's what I've learned talking to people, that we have same emotions, we have same feelings,
Obviously.
and we have same beliefs also to the situations that a human faces. I will not talk about beliefs in religion. That is completely, subjective. But we are same humans inside out, They also have feelings the same way that we have for our kids, they have for their kids. Everything is same. We are not different. So we have to stop stereotyping these people from different countries in certain images that we often do.
But I would like to say something. I believe the stereotype of French people being rude is only because of Paris.
Yes.
Because, in Paris, like, I'm not from Paris, so I can talk bad about them. Like, they don't have time in Paris. The metro has to be fast. Everything has to be fast. If you are taking too long in the queue for getting a ticket, they are going to just pass in front of you. They have no time, and in the process they are being very rude, actually, because if a tourist asks for the direction in the metro, they don't have time for that, because the metro arrives in 1 minute. So please make some way. I cannot speak English with you anyway, so find someone else.
Yeah, so I agree with you that Paris has a completely different image, because Paris, life is completely different from
Exactly,
anywhere
yes.
around. Life is busy. So I wouldn't say people are responsible for that, because they go through that stress all the time.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do agree about that stress, because I don't know why I don't like Paris. The reason is, the moment I am in Paris, I don't feel at ease. I feel almost stressful. It's in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though I don't have so many things to do, but even I'm traveling and I'm visiting, I can go to 2-3 places. It's my choice. If I don't do 3 monuments today, I'll do just one. Or if I don't do 3 meetings today, I'll do just one. It's my choice. But I just don't know. The stress is in the air. It's in Paris.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can also feel it as an external person. But imagine people who are living there, and a majority of population in Paris are not French. There are a lot of people who have come from different countries also who are living in
Obviously,
Paris.
yeah.
So that also changes the vibe. Like in Delhi, I think Delhi, there are very few Delhiites now. A lot of people who have migrated from different regions also. So that becomes kind of a beautiful mixture, but chaotic also at times. So probably, I think we don't feel it in Delhi, because we are used to having multicultural things. So we are very happy when there are people from different areas. But maybe for Paris, the thing is, having too much of different kind can also create chaos. Do you think that can be one of the reasons they feel stress at times?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Everything feels like you have to be in a rush, actually.
Yeah.
Even just walking on the Champs-Élysées, I mean, you are literally here just for sightseeing,
Yes,
And
yes.
no, like, you have people that walk fast, they are going to
Yes,
push you because you
yes.
are on their way. I don't know, like, they are not chill at all, like, actually. I don't know. I don't think Parisian people realized... I mean, Paris, if you don't talk about the people, is a beautiful city.
Yes.
I mean, I don't mind walking for hours in Paris because everything is beautiful. You always have something to look at and stuff. But the experience with the people, like, you can't even take pleasure in just simple things.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they are fed up with tourists, but at the same time, this is literally what keeps the city alive.
Yes.
Because,
True.
we have a predefined image of Paris, like Parisian.
Imagine if Paris was no man's zone, like I arrived in Rennes for the first time. Who would like to go there? We also like seeing Paris, the city of fashion, women and men walking around the streets in the best dressed outfits they can have. So best outfits they can have and best dressed, and each one is unique. That is one thing I love about Paris. You will not see two people wearing same clothes in Paris. This is amazing. I don't know how do they do it, because in India, if there is one thing in fashion, you will see everybody wearing that, you know. If one fashion comes and everybody is wearing that. In Paris, that is one unique thing, is that they dress up differently in their own style. They have their own style. They don't follow style which is at the moment. So
Fashion week
or
every
fashion city. So of course, yeah, even if they're in rush, if the city is full of people, we wouldn't like to see Paris without Parisians for sure. That is one charm we have for that.
I don't know, like to me, Paris without Parisians sounds dreamy, but
Let it be a dream only, because we wouldn't like to be in Paris without people. So, you know, this was a good discussion about our first impression and the preconception. About my preconception of France, you know, like you mentioned that you had seen so many videos and people had talked about food and all that. So I was not in that era where we had Instagram. Or even Facebook when I first time went to France. So I had no preconceptions about France that way, that I will see this or this will happen. Today, the whole itinerary can be planned before in advance. And before even landing in France, you can see everything, all the places yourself. That was not that time. So we did not have internet handy, or we did not have Instagram or Facebook. So I think I'm happy about it, because I did not arrive in France with preconceived notions. I came with a completely open mind, with the objective of learning and knowing and discovering for myself. So that was a different age. So I did not have any preconceptions about France. So I will not be able to tell you about what I was feeling before. I was super excited, of course. This was my first time and I really wanted to see how it is. And the Eiffel Tower, of course, you know, everybody talks about. But let me tell you, I was disappointed when I see Eiffel Tower the first time. And people are going to kill me for this, for sure, that I did not like Eiffel Tower the first time I saw it. I was like, really? This is what they come for? And the iron structure, I don't think it's beautiful. But I would say that, of course, I'm wrong. It is beautiful. But my first impression was not that. I did not find it beautiful in the first go. Maybe because the first time I arrived, I did not arrive in Paris immediately. I arrived in Paris, I took the train, I went to other parts. And by that time, you know, imagine I had seen Mont Saint-Michel, for example, and beautiful cathedrals and the real architecture, as we call it, you know, the true architecture, I had already seen that. And having seen that true beauty of France, architectural beauty, and you come and stand in front of Eiffel Tower. Okay, really? Maybe. But I would also admit that with my frequent visits to Eiffel Tower, I started liking it, loving it. With the grandeur, from far it's okay. When you just stand in front of it and, you know, you start looking at, you know, wow. You really say like, wow, how huge, and what an idea. So that was the only thing I think that probably people would say, crazy, you didn't like Eiffel Tower? And people still say that. And I admit that it was the case. It was really the case. But it's not my fault. I saw the other beautiful things before I could see Eiffel Tower. So I was always comparing. And even before coming to Eiffel Tower in Paris, I had seen Saint-Chapelle, for example. I had seen Notre Dame also. So of course, they are also the beauty of Paris.
True.
This is the reason.
Like, really, have you seen the Eiffel Tower during the night with all the lights and stuff?
I did saw that also later.
Okay,
yes, but
so
the first time I saw it was during the daytime, and then I came back the same day at night also, that maybe my impression will change.
So did it change? Because literally Eiffel Tower with all of the lights and stuff.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Right.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. I agree. But I'm talking about my first impression. And
Yeah,
my
but it
first
changed.
impression, of course. And even with visits to come, you know, even the first time it was like that. The second time I went, I liked it even more. The third time, but you have to believe me that I don't think I have a very big or best picture of Eiffel Tower of my first visit, because I wasn't very impressed. However, every time I go now, you will see on my phone at least one good and the best picture of Eiffel Tower. I know from where to take it now, what is the best angle. I've discovered it all, but I still, you know, I fall in love with the country every time I go there. And of course, with the people from France.
And what was your first impression of when you saw the l'Arc de Triomphe?
See, first of all, even Champs-Elysees is not something that fascinated me so much. It's so hyped, I would
It's
say.
overrated, exactly.
Yeah, it's overrated. And I would say that India Gate and L'arc de Triomphe, of course, the brother and the sister, maybe you can call them, the twins, born at different age group, a different age or different point in time. But they are definitely brother-sister twins, and they jumeaux.
Yeah, exactly. I think you had the first impression, like, I mean, the same first impression as me, because India Gate is the first monument I saw in Delhi. And I was like, but we do have the same thing in Paris, actually.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I do definitely, I saw and I said, oh, they're two brother and sisters.
You have to be better than that.
Yeah, but the only difference is that Champs-Elysees is majorly one single road. We also have one single road that leads towards India Gate, but it's with beautiful garden around, and you have restaurants and shops, so it's something you can spend time at. But yes, the Champs-Elysees is overrated. I truly believe it's
Definitely, I mean...
populated, so much of people at all time. You cannot enjoy a walk at the
No,
Champs-Élysées.
no, don't
so
think...
all that, je me baladais sur l'avenue, le cœur ouvert à l'inconnu.
They were lying in that song.
I think there was the age maybe when there were very few people when he wrote this song, but today every time we are there. And I did, even with my last group, I was walking the Champs-Élysées, and I had my phone and we all were singing and walking, but of course being hit by people from around. So imagine that that walk on Champs-Élysées is not as fun as it is imagined by people.
Exactly, I mean, and plus if you don't have, I don't know, everything is more expensive, plus just because this is located on the Champs-Élysées.
Yeah.
So even just a simple McDonald's will cost you more. Just because it's on the Champs-Élysées.
Yes.
So literally, I mean, maybe it's worth seeing once at least to know, okay, this is the place in the song and stuff. But literally, spend not more than 10 minutes on that. There are more special things in Paris than Champs-Élysées, definitely.
Right. I guess we had a very good discussion about the first impression of these two countries, India and France, your impression about India and my impression about France. And a lot of things people would have got to know through what we are talking about. And the best thing is we are not just talking about our experience, we're also giving them some tips about the places that if you go there, you don't do that. If you talk about this, you don't believe that. So exactly. I'm sure with all the things that we are discussing, this is going to benefit our audience also, and they will enjoy listening to us. So we would like to thank you, all of you, for your presence today, and we are going to be back very soon with our second episode on a different topic. And every time we are talking, we'll pick up one aspect of that cultural difference or cultural similarities, and we will share our experiences, personal experiences of those cultural differences and similarities. So thank you so much. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir.
Bye bye.